Hey, so guys, this is Johnny, and welcome to episode 38 of the Travel Like a Boss podcast. I'm here today with Ben. How do you say your last name?
Brandis, yep.
Yeah, from Australia.
Yes. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, no worries. We're back at Coffee Monster again, 2 weeks in a row. Last week we had Mark Brenwall, the CrossFit jump rope making superstar, and Ben is actually the guy that gave Mark that idea. How'd that come about?
Well, being in Chiang Mai, Mark and I met up. Actually, we met up in Coffee Monster from another friend who introduced us, and we found out we had a lot of similar interests. So we've been mountain biking together, we've been rock climbing together, and you joined us the other night as well. And we kind of just became friends, got to know each other, started hanging out quite a bit, and we ended up just showing each other's business. And he was showing me what he was doing, I was showing him what I was doing. And it kind of came about that, well, I'm already selling e-commerce, and Mark was actually thinking about doing that, but he wasn't sure whether he should just find a product and to sell it in an e-commerce store. And what I told him was to really go out there and build your own brand, because there's so many benefits to doing that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I make all my money right now through dropshipping, and I'm glad I did it, and I'm still doing it now. But my next step, my next big goal is I want to build my own brand, and that way I have a product that, has a moat, something that you could defend.
Right, so that's something I really emphasized to Mark, because it was all new to him. I'd already been through the process, so I was confident that he could do well, especially, I mean, you guys spoke about it in the last podcast, that he's already got a following in the CrossFit niche. So I was saying, I recommend going into that. You already have the following, so you can do really well to kind of kickstart the brand. A lot of people have to start from scratch, and you can do really well doing that. But if you have an audience and you have a market that's actually interested in products that you can offer, then that's a great way to start.
So for anyone who didn't listen to the episode, you can pause this, go back, listen to episode 37. It's Mark Brenwall, and basically we talk about how he changed his CrossFit fan page, Facebook fan page, into, well, I mean, I guess that's still up and running, but he's using that to monetize by creating his own product, and in that case it's a CrossFit jump rope. And what's really cool is it's fulfilled by Amazon, which means he can basically travel around. He's in Malaysia right now, just for the weekend. Do you even know why he's there?
I think he's looking at some visa stuff.
Okay, but I mean, from his Facebook, it looks like he's just traveling around, looking at going hiking, looking at Buddhas.
Yep.
And I know he's gonna be back here on Sunday, just 2 days from now, because we're gonna go paintballing.
Yep.
So this is such a weird place that we live where this is possible. And actually, this is a little fun fact: is I woke up this morning knowing it's the end of the week and I'm due for another episode. But I didn't want to interview. There's a couple of people I could have interviewed at Punspace, but they're more like programmers, and even though they're making money online, they're technically traveling. There's nothing. It wasn't really that exciting to talk about. So all I did was I said, I'm just gonna go to Coffee Monster and grab an Americano, and I'm sure I'm gonna bump into someone there, and I bumped into Ben. And Ben and I know each other from rock climbing.
Yep.
So would you agree that Chiang Mai is like such a small world when it comes to entrepreneurs?
It is. It's just there's so many digital nomads here. You just bump into all kinds of people that have all kinds of experience, and they're all like-minded. There's heaps of them doing online marketing. And now I know that's a very generic term, but there's so many different ways to go about that. And also just they're so friendly, so laid back. It's just a really cool place to be and hang out and meet people.
So would that be the case back home in Adelaide?
In Australia? No. I mean, there's online marketers everywhere, but it's nothing compared to here. And I mean, I moved out here 4.5 years ago for the first time. Mm-hmm. And since then, I've based myself here, and I just travel the world from here. And I keep coming back because I absolutely love it, just because of the community and the lifestyle here.
That's my plan as well. I kept thinking, I'm going to move on. So I never committed to an apartment. I didn't want to sign a lease. I was actually living out of a hotel for 4 months, renting a motorbike month to month. And my girlfriend, was probably the biggest one who wanted me to commit, was like, why do you keep wasting money, staying in a hotel? Why don't you just buy a motorbike and get an apartment? And it was that fear of that commitment. But now I realize I like Chiang Mai as a home base, and that doesn't mean I can't travel still. So that's cool that you do that.
Yeah, I mean, when I first got here, the original plan was 3 months, and 4.5 years later, I'm still here. Now, during that time, I travel a lot. So last year, I went to South America for a couple months, and I've been to New Zealand for 6 months, and I go back to Australia to visit family. But I keep my apartment here now. Initially, I didn't. I would just keep leaving, coming back, leaving, coming back. But now I just find it easier just to have an apartment just waiting for me, ready to go, more settled in. And yeah.
So do you just leave that apartment empty when you're gone?
Yeah.
And what do you pay a month for that?
I pay $370 a month. You can get a lot cheaper, but my room's decent size, and I'm with my fiance as well, so I like to have a bit of space, and I work from home quite a lot, so...
Okay, that's cool. And that way you have the option of working from home and hanging out at home. And I'm assuming you have a kitchen.
Yes.
Is it a 1-bedroom or? Yeah,
1-bedroom, living room overlooking the mountain, small kitchen, which we hardly ever use because we buy all our meals, we get our laundry done, get the cleaner in. It's a good lifestyle.
Yeah, and you know what? $370 may seem super cheap for everyone listening at home. You know, like if you're in New York, you're paying $2,000 for like a small crappy room, or $3,000 for probably the equivalent of what he's in. But when you're here, I mean, I pay half of that. I pay $200. Well, not half. But I pay $210 for my place, and you can get cheaper than that. This is ridiculous, but people will yell at me for spending too much.
I get yelled at all the time.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, like it's relative.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it really is relative. Like I literally wrote a book about how to live cheap in Thailand. It's called 12 Weeks in Thailand: The Good Life on the Cheap. And I, bragged about having a place that was 3,000 baht a month, which is like $100 a month.
Yeah.
And it's livable, but if you have the choice and you have the income, like you get so much more value paying $200 a month. I mean, basically just paying a little bit more than what you would for like the cheapest possible way to live.
Correct.
And so back in Australia, I mean, I'm sure, man, Australia's expensive.
Yes.
What part of Australia are you from?
Brisbane.
Okay. I've only been to Sydney and Melbourne, and I remember, man, everything is ridiculously expensive. It's almost like you guys are taking a piss.
Yeah, it's always a culture shock every time I go back to Australia. I'm like, you buy like a bottle of water here for like 30 cents. I go back to Australia and it's like $3-4. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, and like I remember buying, I think they were oranges in Melbourne, and I thought the person was trying to rip me off because there was no price listed, and they just kind of said a number, and it was like Melbourne Chinatown, and I remember saying to them like, haha, this is at $9, and she looked at me like I was retarded because that's just how much oranges are there.
Yep. Yeah, Australia is not cheap to live. It is a nice place, but for years I've been trying to find somewhere better than Chiang Mai, and there are some that come close, but Chiang Mai is still my favourite, so I keep coming back.
Where in Australia? I mean, South America were you?
We travelled all over. So we went to Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Bolivia, Peru, Colombia.
I've heard a lot of good things about Bolivia.
Really?
Yeah.
The scenery's amazing, but it's quite a poor country. The internet's really bad as well, and obviously I manage my whole online business via the internet, so that was a big downside to me.
So that's not going to be the entrepreneur hub of 2015?
I don't think so, no. Mind you, the main reason I wanted to go to South America was to check out Colombia, because I heard Medellin was a digital nomad place, and a lot of internet marketers were living out there. That was a really cool place.
Okay.
The only issue was I don't speak any Spanish, and you really need to speak decent Spanish to live there well, which was the only reason why I wouldn't actually live there. If I knew Spanish, then maybe.
I was actually pretty close to go down to South America as well. My buddy Anton went to Argentina, my buddy Kurt went to Medellin, and I originally really wanted to go, but I kind of just let them test the waters first, and I figured if they liked it and they stayed for a long time, I would kind of do the same. But they both came back to Chiang Mai, so I figured, it's obviously just. I mean, you don't regret going there, right?
No, I loved it. I mean, I spent 2 months throughout South America, and I actually didn't do much work at all. I was just basically in maintenance mode, just making sure everything was still ticking over.
I think that's a really like a nice way to live life. Is when you're here, you can sit down and really work hard and just plug away, and then when you're back, when you're traveling, you can just maintenance mode.
Yeah, So yeah, that's what we did. But all that was possible because of online marketing and specifically more so e-commerce. So that's why I'm a big fan of it. And I think just going back to that, what we've actually done is actually launched our brands off Amazon.com. You can build your own stores as well. But the reason Amazon is a good launching platform is because they have so many buyers and so much traffic already there. So you just put your product up, do some good marketing to it, and the sales come in, and then you can focus on your own store.
I definitely agree. I think Amazon is the new eBay.
Yeah.
And so the other day I listened to an interview with this lady that she does. I think she's from some. Okay, so basically what she does, she goes to Target and Big Lots and these different stores and buys whatever is on clearance, and then sends it into Amazon to sell. And she uses the Fulfilled by Amazon service.
Yeah.
So they basically warehouse her stuff, and she sells, and she tries to make 50% markup from things. So the idea of the way it works is she'll go to Target once a week, buy whatever's on clearance, or buy whatever is buy one get one free, and she'll scan it on her phone, using like some bar scanner app, barcode app, I guess, and see what it's selling for on Amazon. And as long as it's more expensive on Amazon, she buys all of it, and like she'll drive around to 4 different Targets and buy all of it, package it, send it in, and then sell it. And at first I was thinking, man, this is such a great business idea. This is awesome. And then I realized she's literally driving around, probably like 30 miles in each direction to different Targets, buying these $10 items, and then it's such a pain in the butt. And I think it's great for like a housewife or someone instead of couponing, but I would not trade what we do, for that.
Hell no. I mean, it's definitely a model that you can make a little bit of money from if you do it right. But it's not something that I would personally want to do. I would just rather build my own brands on Amazon and sell that. And because it's your own brand, you have a lot of option whether you want other people to sell your product. So we're the exclusive manufacturer for our brand. No one else can sell it. Now we might change that in the future, but for now, I mean, we're getting all the sales.
That's
which is
really
a cool
cool
thing.
So let's say with Mark's product, the brand is WOD Nation.
Yep.
And so he can basically build that up. So right now he's starting with the jump rope, and I know he's in the works of making other products as well.
Yes.
And eventually, people will just start. I mean, they'll associate CrossFit training gear with WOD Nation.
Exactly.
So then, even if other people sell stuff and they take a cut of it, they're helping him by building the brand.
Yep. I mean, it depends. Like, if you want to, once you're getting your initial sales rolling in, if you can do wholesale if you want to allow other people to sell that. You can move into retail stores. It's a real brand that it's just like any other brand that's out there. You can sell it wherever you want. Just Amazon is a good launching platform for that. Now, with CrossFit, I mean, a brand can be with anything. Like, for us, we sell health supplements. And, I mean, we started with our first product, and then the next one that comes along, it's just like, you've already got that customer database. You try and find a product that matches your existing customers. So for CrossFit, obviously, another product would be another CrossFit item. If you were going to start selling diapers, I mean, that's not smart for your brand.
So I guess, all right, so a question about the way Amazon does it is, so if someone comes and buys one of your health supplements, do you get that person's email address and contact information?
Okay, so the way it works is we get our supplements manufactured in the US, we send it to Amazon's fulfillment centers. So every time we make a sale, Amazon ship it out to our customers. Amazon send us money to the bank account every 2 weeks, and what they do is they give us their an encrypted Amazon email address, which is kind of useless, which is the biggest downside in my opinion. But you get their name, you get their address, and you get their phone number.
Okay.
So the only thing you don't get is their real email address. So what I do recommend is in your product packaging and things like that, having inserts so you can start getting their real email address, maybe for a coupon code, maybe for a free bonus report, that kind of thing, so you can start building up your list of customers.
So Amazon's the one that sends it out for you, but you can instruct them to include like a postcard in that box for you, or how's that work?
You need to be really careful how you do it. So technically, let's say you were selling a supplement and you've just got the bottle. You can't tell Amazon every time you ship out that bottle, put in this insert in the box. You can't do that. Amazon will not. It's against their terms of service. But if you have a box around that supplement, and the insert is inside your packaging, no matter what your product.
Wow.
If the insert is inside the packaging, then it's okay because it's considered as part of the product. So that's the way you can do that. You can't get them to actually put an insert in the box just before they send it.
So, like, let's say you have a standard size bottle, like a vitamin size bottle.
Yeah.
If you want to have that box, does that cost a lot more to manufacture?
It depends on the company you use, on the size of the box. If it's just a normal size supplement bottle, you'll normally have to buy like a minimum order quantity, but it works out around 50 to 60 cents per box.
Okay, but then I'm thinking most people aren't really going to even look at that insert. Even fewer are going to actually follow that that link to take that insert, go to a computer, type in their email, and give it to you. So is it worth that 50 cents to get that email?
We haven't actually implemented adding a box, just because we're using other strategies to get their email address. But, I mean, of course, there's always going to be a percentage of people that will never do it. But it ultimately comes down to how can you add value to the product that they just purchased. And the more you can incentivize them to go to your website and enter in their details, the better. Like if you said get 50% off your next purchase, that's pretty enticing, especially if they plan to buy more in the future. And you can just get creative and add value. You could even do a free report that basically shows them how to get the most out of their purchase, that kind of thing. Just the more enticing you can make it, the more people that will actually go to your site and you'll get their email address.
I like it. I mean, I'm assuming there's a million different ways to do this. I mean, you can even have a piece of paper inside the actual bottle that would normally be where the ingredients or the warnings are, and have that be a coupon.
Yeah, I mean, you can do a lot of different things.
You can have it on the bottle.
Yeah, I mean, you've got their mailing address as well, so you could even do physical mail. It's totally up to you.
And I'm assuming Amazon wouldn't like it if you emailed everyone who bought and then asked them to sign up for your list.
The way Amazon works is you get their encrypted email and you can only contact them through the Amazon system.
Okay.
And their rule is you're not supposed to include a link unless you get special permission. So we've done that with some of our stuff, but we never send them to our website because we're just not allowed.
Okay.
So we just get their email address outside.
Could you send them a link to like a free ebook or something?
Yes, that's how we're using it. So
I like it.
All of our customers get a free bonus report. We include that in the email we send them, and it directs straight to the ebook. There's no opt-in for it.
But that's nice because in that ebook, then there could be different links back to your sites and things like that.
Yeah, you need to be careful with it. You need to get it approved by Amazon, but there are options for that.
Okay, I like it. There's so many different ways to kind of play around this huge marketplace. And
yes.
I mean, how many customers does Amazon have? It's like millions or billions.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's crazy.
I heard that, and I don't know what the actual statistics of this really are, but someone said out there that a third of the people looking to buy something online don't even go anywhere else. I mean, a third of the people, basically 30% of the traffic that goes online and buys something, they go straight to Amazon to search. And I think Amazon did a great job building it up, with great customer service, the best prices, great selection, all that stuff. And things with like Prime. Anyone that has Amazon Prime, they just go straight to Amazon Prime without even looking anywhere else because they figure they want free shipping. But here's a caveat, man. As a customer, I've realized that if you look for stuff that has just Prime, often it's a lot more expensive than a non-Prime item, even for the same item, because they have to build in that shipping cost into it. So Amazon, I really believe that eventually, I don't know, they're a smart company, but I do believe that eventually they're not going to be the cheapest, but a lot of people will shop with them anyways just because they're convenient and they like the returns policy and all that stuff.
And they're also quite trusted. It's a leading brand. But yeah, I mean, for e-commerce, I've actually wanted to get into e-commerce for years now. And I used to do a lot of info marketing. I still do. But the reason I didn't get into e-commerce earlier was just because of all the hassles of merchant accounts, accepting the payments, then fulfilling it. I wasn't really interested in that side of it. So that's why the reason I finally got into e-commerce was when I found out about Fulfilled by Amazon. I just send my product to them, they ship it for me, I handle everything.
So let's kind of get back to the beginning. When the first time you sent a product to Amazon, was that a big upfront cost for you? Like, how much inventory did you purchase when you sent it to them?
It depends on the supplier and the product, obviously. My first order was about $3,500. So that's what I got started. I could have done it for a lot less. I could have done it for a lot more. That's just what I felt comfortable at the time. And the reason I was comfortable putting that much, I mean, that might sound like a lot to some of you guys, is because I'd done the research and Amazon tells you exactly what's selling. Like, I didn't just kind of guess at this, and I did my market research. Amazon told me which products are popular. So I felt quite confident in that.
So when you say Amazon tells you what's popular, that's just like the sales rank, right?
Right.
So if something's ranked number 300,000, then it's not as well selling as something that's ranked, 10,000, right?
Right.
Okay. So so what you did was you looked at a competitor's product and you're like, I can make a better version of this and sell it next to them.
Correct.
Okay.
And I just looked at the sales rank and I could see that it was selling decent. I wasn't just one competitor, I looked for multiple. Make sure they don't have too many reviews, otherwise it's really, really competitive. And yeah, just came up with a better formula. A lot of people just use the same formula and put their own brand on it, but I wanted to actually differentiate myself. So we actually had some scientists come up with a formula for us, and we worked with them to get that done. And yeah.
That sounds complicated. I mean, like, where do you hire scientists?
Yeah, well, we wanted to make sure we were different. So, and it's really helped with our marketing because we are different to other people. We can charge a premium price compared to our competitors. Like, we're one of the most expensive. And the reason we can do that is because we have quality marketing and our formula is unique. No one else has the same formula as us. And
can someone else copy your formula, or is it patented?
No, technically they could. Most people don't patent formulas just because you can change one tiny ingredient by the tiniest amount. It's not even worth it.
A dash of cinnamon in mine.
Yep. So yeah, people don't really patent it. So and we've never even worried about it. If it happens, we'll deal with it. But because we've already launched the brand, we've already got a bunch of good reviews. We're kind of the authority for that formula. So if someone came along and copied it, we're still we've got the good rankings, that kind of thing. So.
And how long ago was this that you started?
I started just over a year ago.
Okay.
I first went live just over a year ago. It took me a little while to get the formula and all that sorted. But yeah.
So from the day that you decided, hey, this is a good idea, to you basically making your first sale, how long was that process?
I think it was around 3 months.
Okay. And
it could have been quicker. It was just that I had to set up a US business account, and I'm not from the US, so
if you're
there's
American,
a lot of delays there. Yeah.
Okay. So let's say for American listeners, they're like, okay, I want to make the best vitamin C in the world. Mm-hmm. Realistically, I don't do vitamin C. It's probably a terrible niche, but so I don't think I personally want to do it just because I don't want to invest the money up front for it. But I do think it's a great idea to be able to, basically use Amazon and not have to do, as you said, you not have to set up your own shopping cart, not have to take your own products, not have to really do any of that stuff.
Right.
And especially if someone has a fan base already like Mark did.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got the fan base, it makes total sense to create a product in that niche, something that they'd be interested in. As for supplements, the reason I like it is because you can seriously get started with supplements for $200. Like, you don't have to buy as many units as I did when I first started. I just wanted to do that because I was serious and I had the money to do it. Whereas, like, I know people that have started off with buying like 30 bottles. That's perfectly fine. You can get that quite cheap. The cool thing with supplements is, like, people keep buying them, and also the markups are huge. Like, I have 400% markup on my product.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like that. So, aside from supplements, so I used to private label cologne, and it was kind of a similar process where I contacted some company. I think it's called Your Brand Name Fragrances or something.
Yep.
And I used them because they had a really small order minimum. It was less than 100 units. And basically I told them what I wanted my cologne to smell like. I picked a bottle, I picked a label, and they sent it to me. And the reason why I stopped doing it is because it was such a pain in the butt to send liquid glass, all around to my customers. But if Fulfilled by Amazon was around back then, maybe I would have done that. Yeah. And maybe I could still do that now.
Yeah, I mean, you've already, it sounds like you've already found the supplier, done the hard work, done the label. So yeah, there's no reason why you couldn't just whack it on Amazon, get them to fulfill it for you.
Well, I guess the downside to that would be so let's say it's my own brand of cologne. Let's say it's Johnny Cologne, right? You smell like Johnny.com, right? And how would I even begin marketing that?
Well, for one, you need to make sure like when you put it up on Amazon, you create what they call a product detail page, and that needs to have really excellent product images, so it looks high end, like as good as your competitors or better. If you've just got this really dodgy kind of photo you've taken with your camera that's like really bad, that's not good. Then it just comes down to good copy on your product description details, just enticing them why they should buy it, and reviews. You want to get some good reviews from your customers on Amazon and kind of focus on that as well. And then it's all about trying to get your rankings on Amazon and also driving external traffic to your Amazon page.
Okay, so before we get to external traffic, so within Amazon itself, if I let's say I did all that, I had great photos, I had a couple, my good friends write nice reviews, I had a good copy. Would people even find that product? Like, let's say they're searching for, no one's gonna type in like men's cologne. They're gonna type in like Polo Sport, right? I don't know if anyone actually wears Polo Sport anymore besides me, but if they did, like, how would I pop up? How would my product pop up?
You'll be really surprised at how people find you. A lot of the time, like when we first started, we were making sales and I didn't even know how. Like, we were doing no marketing. They were just finding us somehow. I couldn't even tell you how. So, I mean, you want to start targeting certain keywords, and you can do paid ads within Amazon, and just doing external traffic to your page. And once you start getting some good conversions on your Amazon page, then that will help with your rankings. And as you get more reviews, that'll help as well. Within inside Amazon. Okay,
so by paid ads, do you mean like Google AdWords and things like that?
It's like Amazon has its own paid advertising platform in there that you can use, so it's kind of like Google AdWords, but within Amazon. Yep.
So can I target like Polo Sport, or would I have to target men's cologne?
You might be able to target both. I'm not sure, because that might be a trademarked keyword that you might not be able to use. So don't quote me on that, but you've got that option.
That's pretty cool. I had no idea that there was all this, out there.
Yep.
I like it. So, and you're able to do all this without physically seeing any of that product?
Correct. I sold 800 bottles before I ever saw the product in my hand. I knew the scientists had come up with it. I'd seen photos of it. Got all that checked. It was all done in an FDA approved lab and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't need to see it. But yeah, after a while, because I'm in Thailand, I can't just ship it to myself. So there was a little bit of hassles in that, and I didn't really care about seeing it that much until I got to a point. I'm like, okay, I should really see this thing. So I finally got it shipped to me. It took a little while, but we got it, and yeah.
I think that's such an insane story if you think about it. But I'm not that surprised, because I know plenty of people who sell stuff that they've never seen. I sell a lot of product, and I've used a lot of it because, it used to be a hobby of mine. And that's why I got into that niche, because I actually kind of knew something about it. But the majority of the products within that niche I sell, I've never seen before. And they're big items. They're like, some of these are heavy items, and they're shipped directly from the manufacturer to the customer. The customer will send me an email saying how much they love it, and I get satisfaction in knowing that they bought something and it's a physical unit that they can use. I really get joy out of that. Do you feel like there's more joy in selling supplements where people can actually use them, and it's like a good quality supplement that you actually had scientists formulate, and versus like a digital info product?
Yeah, I actually get a lot more satisfaction from selling physical products, and I think that's also because it's my own brand that I've kind of created. But physical products are a lot easier to sell, in my opinion, these days than information products. Now, you can do really well with information products, and we have. But I don't know, I just really I think e-commerce is where it's at. Like, it's still really early days. Now's the time to get in. I absolutely love e-commerce.
A lot of people worry that it's too saturated now. That so many people, because e-commerce is really the buzzword of the year.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about drop shipping. Everyone's talking about e-commerce. Now everyone's going to be talking about FBA, fulfilled by Amazon. Mm-hmm. Do you think that there's still room out there for that, or is it saturated?
I think there's definitely room. I don't think it's saturated at all. There's millions of different products out there. You just need to get creative and go with it. Just going back before, when we were talking about not even seeing the product, It's different if you're just getting it sent from the manufacturer, but if you're actually manufacturing your own product, and then I highly recommend you do look at it, like because you want to make sure you've got quality stuff. There's no defects, and especially if you're getting it in China, you should always have someone look over it properly and that kind of thing. I would never order something from China with my own brand label on it and never look at it.
That's just asking for trouble. I think.
Yeah, and I know people that have done that, and they've really suffered from it because they didn't kind of take that extra step to look at it and check it properly.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it is your brand reputation. I mean, in the beginning, you either build, like let's say your brand gets terrible reviews right from the start, you're gonna have to start over.
It's hard to recover from that. So you're best off, like if you are gonna create your own brand, then make sure you check it out. Like for supplements, it's a bit different because even if I look at it, I don't like, as long as it's made in an FDA lab. And we get third-party testing done as well to make sure. So that's kind of the quality check. I don't physically need to see the bottle to know it's good.
Yeah, because it's not like you can look at the bottle and be like, no, this is off,
Yeah, I mean, I got photos, of course. But if it was a different product, then definitely I would want to see it, check it out, and even hire a company to look at it for me on my behalf and send me all the details. Just depends.
Okay, definitely. Like, so if people are thinking of niches, so let's say they want to think about something that's not supplements, but they're thinking, like, what else would this work with?
It can work with absolutely anything. I mean, if you just go to Amazon and look at the top 100 bestsellers of every category, those products are selling hundreds per day.
Let's do this live. All right, I'm gonna go on Amazon. Just out of curiosity, I want to see. I'm gonna take a look at a category. We're gonna take a look at the top 100, and then we're just gonna brainstorm, just kind of on the spot. And because I really feel like a lot of people, there's two ways of thinking. One is, that there's not enough ideas out there. There's not enough niches out there. And then the other way of thinking is there's literally like an unlimited amount. By the way, the new Amazon Fire phone just came out. Have you heard about that?
If you go to Google and just type Amazon bestseller,
okay,
that's usually the best way to find it.
Easy. Should probably just spell seller right. I haven't watched this video yet for the new Amazon phone, but I'm really excited about that. Amazon best seller, and we're actually in the podcast room at Coffee Monster, so the internet's a bit slow back here, so hopefully we can connect. But okay, so while we wait for this to load, when you first had your product live, how many sales did you make that first month, and what are you kind of selling now?
Our first month, we did a lot of promotions, and we made about 300 sales our first month.
Okay, nice. And where did those sales come from?
A lot of them were coupon deals. So we did a big promotion where we would just kind of give a big discount on our product just to get initial customers through the door, work on those reviews, and do that kind of thing. And that's something that we haven't done much recently. Now it's more organic Amazon stuff. And we do a lot of other promotions like create videos, press releases, paid ads. That's a big one. It depends on the product. Like paid advertising can be absolutely huge for some products. Like it's insane.
And you were telling me that Amazon now has their own paid advertising within Amazon.
Yes.
And how does that work?
So basically, when you're selling on Amazon, you can you get what they call a Seller Central account, which is where you manage your Amazon stuff, your Amazon listing, your inventory, that kind of thing. And in there's a section where you can set up paid campaigns to have your product appear for certain keywords. So if you go to Amazon and do a search for anything, if you scroll now on the right hand side, they've just changed it. You can see ads. At the very bottom, you can see ads as well.
And a lot of people don't realize that. They don't realize that there are ads within Amazon. I actually advertise in Amazon for some of my niche stores, where the way that it looks from Amazon is if you scroll down past the product, they will show you ads that look like it's still in Amazon, but it says also available from these sellers.
Yep.
And if you click it, it actually goes to my website and you buy it from me. And what Amazon gets out of it is they get like 80 cents a click or something. It's actually pretty expensive through Amazon, but it converts very high because people go on Amazon to buy stuff.
Right.
So we're looking at the bestsellers categories right now. Which category should we take a look at? What would be an easy one?
Let's do something like kitchen and dining.
Okay. So we're gonna go to kitchen and dining. So all we did was we googled Amazon bestsellers, clicked on the kitchen and dining, and now we see some products. So what would you like? How would you look through this and decide what to sell?
I tend to stay away from anything to do with electronics, just because that's an extra element of things that could go wrong, and something that's small and light.
Okay.
So
any specific price points?
Price points, it really depends. It can be minimum, I would say, like $12, just because you're going to have to pay Amazon fees, you're going to have to pay for the product, and you want to make some decent profit at the end of the day. But as for the most expensive, it can really be anything. But really, the higher price point, usually you'll have to pay more per unit, which really brings up your upfront costs. So typically, like $12, even up to like $40 or $50, something around that price point seems to be kind of the sweet spot.
Okay. So we take a look at it now. I have no idea what to do next.
Yeah. So if you have a look here, you've got water filters here.
Yeah.
So they're small. I don't know how heavy they are, but I imagine they're quite small. And you can see this is Brita.
Yeah.
That's something that it looks like you could easily just put your logo right on there, your brand name, and start selling a very similar item.
Okay, so even though they're an established brand name, you can make your own version of it. You can call it the Rita filter.
Yeah, you just need to be careful, like if they've got any like patents or anything on that kind of technology that they're using.
But how would you even contact so they're like charcoal water filters? How would you even contact a manufacturer for that?
Go to Google and start searching for a supplier for that item.
Oh, okay.
So it's a water filter, so go to Google and water filter supplier.
Oh, wow. Okay, so is that...
And just scroll
really
through
easy?
the pages. Yeah. I mean, it's probably not going to be on the first page of Google. What's this? This is a blender shaker, is it?
Yeah, it's a protein shaker called Blender Bottle.
Yep, so that's another one. I mean, that's light. Easily you can replace the label, put your own brand on there. And you just keep scrolling through, like... It's going to tell you the top 100. So you've got a spatula here. Mm-hmm. How easy would a spatula be? I mean, light, small, and it's the 17th best-selling product in this category. So they're selling hundreds per day.
And so when you say search on Google, do you mean finding sites like Alibaba and these?
Yeah, Alibaba's a good one. And then just doing Google searches for independent companies as well. But Alibaba is definitely a good place to start as well. It just depends on the product. Some are easier to find than others.
Okay, so we're not going to do like the blender because that's going to be a lot harder.
Yeah,
but
so that's electronic as well. So you can see some ice ball molds. Mm-hmm. So basically, like you can make circular ice balls, and this 27th at the moment it's ranked number 27 best selling.
And the nice thing about these ice molds, or number 28 is going to be like ice pop molds, is nobody really cares what the brand is. So people just want, they need, when they're shopping for this, they want something that can make popsicles.
Yep.
They want a mold that can make popsicles. And me as a consumer, I wouldn't really care what brand I bought. I would probably just buy the one that had better photos, that was cheaper, that looked nicer. So or
there was something unique about it that made it better than the others available.
I like it. So we're looking at Norpro Ice Pop Maker. And all it is a mold to make ice pops. And it's made of BPA-free plastic, transforms juice into ice. Here's the crazy thing about Amazon, or e-commerce in general, that this is why I know 100% there's a lot of money to be made, is this manufacturer, Norpro, they might be great at manufacturing and kind of the back-end stuff, but they're not internet marketers. Just like when you look at Mark's page for his jump rope, that page isn't just a standard description. Like every other jump rope, it'll just have some bullet points. Imported, made of BPA-free durable plastic, creating fun, healthy treats anytime. Makes 10 3-ounce treats. This is the popsicle, not the jump rope, by the way. But with Mark's product, it's a sales page. It's like, it gives you like a benefit, then a feature, and an emotional high, then like a guarantee, and it's like a long sales page. And I'm willing to bet if this ice pop maker decided to actually take the time, hire a copywriter, make a nice sales page, he'd be selling a lot more even. But they're not going to do that because they're a manufacturer of freaking, ice pop molds.
Yeah.
But me as, a person who actually studies this stuff, I can make that same ice pop mold, but have a really compelling, copy on it.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And there's so many products just like this one that are out there. I mean, it's just endless. I mean, there's so many things you can do, which is why I say it's not saturated. I mean, you want a little bit of competition because that proves it's selling. But, I mean, look, there's just so many ideas out there. I mean, they're charging $17 for this, and I bet you they get that for like $2 in China.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, if you can find the manufacturer the Chinese maker of these ice pop molds, they'll probably just sell you the same thing, but with your name on it.
Yeah, that's their business. Their business is to sell to people who want to create their own brands or sell it.
So if you asked me 5 years ago before I got into any of this, and you asked me, because this now it seems very simple. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I know I can go on Alibaba or I just do a Google search, look for ice pop maker mold, find a plastic manufacturer in China, and have them send over a container of these pop makers with my logo stamped on it. Mm-hmm. I could send it to Amazon where they their warehouse, they fulfill it. I can drive some paid ads to it, and now I have a brand. I have a company. I'm the next Pyrex or whatever the next big company is. But 5 years ago, if you asked me to do that, I would have said that's impossible. There's no way that me as a random dude could have a physical product in a store. Like, I would go to Walmart or Target and I would look at these these products, and I would just assume this is something that a huge corporation does, and it's not something that some guy sitting in shorts and flip-flops can do.
I mean, of course it's a learning curve. Of course it's a step-by-step kind of thing. You go through stages. But I mean, you don't need to be selling in Walmart to be making a lot of money from the products. You can just put it on Amazon and make a ton. You could just even start with your own little website and do a bunch as well. It just depends what you feel comfortable with. And I mean, a lot of people the easier way to start is just doing someone else's product first, doing an e-commerce store, kind of like what you've already done, and get comfortable doing that. And then you can kind of move to the next step and go, all right, well, I feel comfortable now. I know I can sell some physical products. Let's look at creating my own brand.
Dude, I like that a lot. And, I'm so excited to sit down with you and talk to you today, because that has been on my mind. That's what's been kind of burning a hole in the back of my mind for this last year. Because I know that eventually I want to build a brand that I can just announce to the world and tell, all my friends, like, hey, buy my ice pop maker. And because I don't know, it would just be something that I'd be super proud of.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I like about it too. For years, people go, "What do you actually do? You just like travel the world all the time," and just a lot of the time I'd try and explain, but in the end, I'd just say internet marketing, which is, I mean, it's so much more than that. Especially now that I sell physical products, I can say I manufacture a physical product in the US and sell it, which is very different to just saying, I do a bit of online marketing, or I sell an ebook, or it's kind of cool to be selling physical products.
I definitely think so, but I'm sure that those years of online marketing have helped.
Definitely.
And I really feel like, so anyone out there right now that is either currently doing some kind of online product, whether it's affiliates or copywriting or I don't know, like just whatever internet marketing stuff there is out there, use that skill set and use that to build your own brand instead of promoting someone else's stuff. And if you're just looking to get started, I also think e-commerce is a great way to get into it. Yeah. Especially if you do something like dropshipping where there's no real upfront cost, or if you go Ben's route and do a product through Amazon where you don't have to warehouse anything, and especially if you can find something that's a small run, so something that's 100 units or less, a few $1,000s or less, give that a shot.
Yep,
I like it. Anything else to leave our listeners with before we end today?
Come out to Chiang Mai. It's a cool place to be. And as for e-commerce, I really do think it's still early stages. And there's just so much potential there, and I really do think that it is something to focus on.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. I mean, e-commerce is the reason why I'm sitting here today, especially physically sitting at this coffee shop today instead of at a job working. Mm-hmm. And if you read my blog, I've been done with work by like 11 a.m. every day because there's not that much more to do. So I get to go and basically just mess around, hang out, talk to people, and do this podcast. And one thing that's really helped grow this podcast is everyone that's been leaving iTunes reviews. So the reason why it's so important isn't just, because I do like seeing that people enjoy podcasts, but mainly it's because the more 5-star reviews you leave on iTunes, the more it shows up to other new listeners. It'll show up under their recommended or their new and noteworthy, things like that. So for the people that spent the time to open the clunky iTunes app, search for Travel Like a Boss, subscribe, and then click reviews and ratings, and then click write a review. I know it's a long process, but I really appreciate you guys doing that. Especially these last couple guys. I'm just gonna give you a quick shout out. We have Jens and Drew. He says this podcast is awesome. Not only does Johnny give tips and advice to becoming a successful entrepreneur, he also gives great tips and advice on travel and a variety of other things. Not to mention some good stories. Highly recommended. 5 stars. From the Money Free, I want to give you a shout out as well. And we have The Dude Is Not In. We have JK Cron. Thank you guys so much. Keep in touch. Travel Like a Boss podcasts.com. And Ben, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
See you guys. Thank you for listening to the Travel Like a Boss podcast. If you want to hear more, including the bonus How to Choose the Perfect Niche episode, join our mailing list at travellikeabosspodcast.com. See you next week, and remember, if you want to travel like a boss, you need to be your own boss. So start your online business today and start living the lifestyle you've always dreamed of.